Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to be discussing the 4 topics related to motivation, job satisfaction, goal setting, and organizational justice. These concepts are important because they help explain why employees behave the way they do and what managers can do to create a more productive and positive work environment for all. Rather than simply defining the theories, I would like to focus more on how these ideas will apply in real life situations and why they matter to both employees and managers. For example, Hertzberg's 2-factor theory suggests that there are 2 different categories of factors that influence employees. The first category is called hygiene factors, and the second category is called motivators. According to Hertzberg, hygiene factors do not necessarily make employees happy, but if they are missing, employees can become dissatisfied. Some examples of these hygiene factors are pay or benefits or company policies, job security, the working conditions, relationships with managers or supervisors, or relationships with their coworkers. Motivators, on the other hand, are factors that truly increase job satisfaction and motivation. And these can include, recognition on a certain achievement or giving more responsibility to an employee, advancing that employee, different growth opportunities, and work that gives that employee meaning. Based on this theory, the types of incentives most likely to reduce job satisfaction would be focusing on improving hygiene factors. For example, offering competitive wages or strong healthcare benefits, flexible scheduling, safe working conditions. All of these things can help employees from becoming frustrated, disengaged, or just feeling drained or kind of not valued within the company. A good example would be a company that introduces better benefit packages and improves scheduling practices to provide a routine schedule for all their employees. And, these employees may not become motivated right away because these changes, but they're less likely to quit or complain or feel dissatisfied in the workplace. To increase job satisfaction, however, managers need to focus on motivators. For example, I think creating new opportunities for employees to feel valued is definitely something that can motivate, or recognizing their employees or giving initiatives or promotions. All of these are likely to improve satisfaction in the workplace. For example, imagine 2 employees receive a pay increase. They may appreciate it, but the excitement could fade over time. Now imagine one of these employees is given the opportunity to lead an important project and receives recognition from management for their contributions. This experience is likely to create a stronger sense of accomplishment and satisfaction because, this employee will feel part of the team and feel like they did something to contribute. I think Hertzberg's theory is valuable because many organizations focus heavily on compensation while overlooking factors such as recognition in the workplace. Money is definitely important, but people often want to feel that their work matters and that they value and they are a part of the team. As a future manager myself, I would focus on both categories. I think it's important to have a balance. Employees do need fair pay and safe working conditions, but they also need opportunities to learn and develop and contribute in meaningful ways. The next topic that we wanted to discuss was compare the 3 major theories of motivation. This includes McClelland's acquired needs theory, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and the ERG theory. Maslow's hierarchy of needs proposes that people move through 5 levels of needs. These include physiological needs, safety needs, social needs, esteem needs, and self-actualization needs. I always trip up with that word. According to Maslow, lower level needs generally must be satisfied before higher level needs become important. The ERG theory simplifies Maslow's model into 3 categories: existent needs, relatedness needs, and growth needs. Unlike Maslow, ERG theory suggests that people can pursue multiple needs at the same time and can kind of move back and forth between certain levels. McClane's acquired needs theory takes a different approach. Instead of assuming that everyone follows the same hierarchy or thinks the same, he argues that people develop needs through life experience and cultural influences. And his 3 major acquired needs are the need for achievement, for affiliation, and the need for power. The need of achievement refers to a desire to accomplish challenging goals and receive positive feedback on performance. And this can definitely boost one's self-esteem. The need for affiliation can reflect a desire for positive relationships and social connections. I think it's super important to have friends in the workplace and have those people that support you since you are at your place of work so much. And the need for power involves influence others or making impact. And you don't necessarily want to boss everyone around, but you want to be respected when you have an opinion about something. And one thing I find interesting about McClane's theory is that it recognizes individual differences, which I think is super important. 2 employees may have very different motivations even if they work in the same environment. One salesperson may be highly motivated by meeting their commissions because they have a strong need for that achievement, while another salesperson may value teamwork and workplace friendships because they have this strong need to feel part of the team. When comparing the 3 theories, I personally find McClane's acquired needs theory to be the most useful and realistic explanation of why we are motivated in the workplace. The reason being is that people are incredibly diverse and think differently. Not everyone follows the same progression of needs. This could be from their upbringing, their personalities, their education, their culture, whatever life experience shaped them and now motivates them today. Some individuals prioritize career advancement at a young age, while others prioritize relationships or work-life balance. It's all just depending on the person, and we can't, treat everyone the exact same and expect them to think the same way. This does not mean that Maslow's theory lacks value. He provides an excellent framework for understanding broad human needs, and most people would agree that basic needs such as food, safety, and security are important. The ERG theory also improves upon Maslow by recognizing that multiple needs can exist at the same time. However, if I had to choose one theory that best reflects real-life workplaces, again, I would choose McClane's acquired needs theory because it accounts for the fact that motivation is personal. Managers who understand this, I believe, can tailor their relationships with their coworkers a lot better, and rather than assuming every employee is the same, I think there is just an overall sense of teamwork when a manager treats each individual like they are an individual. On the 3rd thing to address tonight, we're gonna go into kind of a example situation. It involves an auto dealership where every salesperson is consistently achieving their weekly sales goal. At first glance, this sounds like a great situation. If employees are meeting their goals, many managers would assume everything's working well. However, there might be actually a significant problem. the goals may be too easy for all of these people to meet. If every salesperson consistently achieves their goals with little difficulty, then that obviously will indicate the goals may not be challenging enough to encourage growth or maximize the performance. Goal setting theory suggests that specific and challenging goals generally produce higher levels motivation and performance rather than easy goals. If goals are set too low, employees may become comfortable and stop pushing themselves to improve. For example, suppose a salesperson is capable of selling 15 vehicles per week, but only sets a goal of 8 vehicles. Consistently reaching that goal may create the illusion of success while also leaving their significant potential untapped. He could have sold those 15 and, built his self-esteem and realized that he does have the power to do that. Another problem is that employees may begin focusing only on the bare minimum expectations rather than striving for excellence. Instead of maybe asking themselves, how can I improve, they might just say, what minimum do I need to get by? And over time, this can, definitely bring the work ethic down. Additionally, an easy goal can create inaccurate performance evaluations. Managers may believe employees are performing at a high level because goals are being met, when in reality, these goals are just simply too easy. There's also the risk that employees just become complacent. When people are not challenged, they may lose motivation, creativity, or engagement. And many individuals actually enjoy achieving difficult goals because it provides this sense of accomplishment. As a manager, I would regularly review performance data and compare goals against their actual potential. If everyone consistently exceeds targets with little effort, I would gradually raise expectations while ensuring goals remain realistic and attainable. I would also encourage stretch goals, kind of to challenge employees to improve without creating unreasonable pressure. Maybe even through some sort of incentive. The ideal goal is one that is kind of difficult enough to inspire effort, but achievable enough to maintain, the employee's confidence and, work ethic. And then a final topic we're going to talk about tonight focuses on procedural justice and distributive justice. Distributive justice refers to perceptions about whether outcomes are fair. These examples can include pay or a promotion, a certain bonus that was given out, a certain reward that was won, recognition that was given to an employee. Procedural justice refers to perceptions about whether the process used to make decisions is fair. Two employees may receive the same promotion, for example, but their reactions may differ depending on how that decision was made. An employee may accept not receive a promotion if they believe the process was fair and transparent. However, if they believe favoritism influenced the decision, they may feel angry even if the outcome itself was reasonable. One interesting aspect of organizational justice is that both forms are heavily influenced by one's perception, and people do not always have access to the complete story when they are perceiving certain things. Employees will often interpret events based on limited knowledge, assumptions, personal experience, or rumors that are going through the workplace. For example, an employee may assume a coworker received a larger raise or bonus due to favoritism, when the reality is that the coworker actually did take on additional responsibilities. Likewise, managers may believe they are being fair while employees perceive decisions differently because communication is lacking throughout the team. And that is why perception does play such a big role. Even when decisions are objectively fair, employees may still perceive them as unfair if they do not understand how the decision was made. And managers can reduce this through certain ways. First, of course, communication is essential. Employees should understand why rewards were given out, or how someone got a promotion, or why this person was disciplined. And every employee should understand why. Transparency also reduces uncertainty, and it helps employees see the rationale behind decisions. Second, every manager should establish clear and consistent standards. When employees know the criteria being used, they're less likely to assume favoritism or bias. Managers should also encourage employee feedback, providing opportunities for employees to ask questions and express concerns can help identify misunderstandings before they become larger issues. Fourth, managers should apply policies and rules consistently. Inconsistent treatment often creates perceptions of unfairness even when intentions are good. And finally, managers should explain decisions whenever possible. Employees are generally more accepting of outcomes they dislike when they understand the reason behind it. And in my opinion, procedural justice may be even more important than distributive justice in some situations, because people care deeply about being treated with respect and fairness. Even when outcomes are not ideal, employees often react more positively when they believe the process was honest, transparent, and unbiased. In conclusion, all of these theories provide very valuable insights into employee motivation and workplace behavior. Herzberg's theory teaches us that reducing dissatisfaction and increasing satisfaction in the workplace can have many different approaches. There's many different theories on perspectives on human motivations, but I found McLand's theory especially realistic because it recognizes individual difference. As future managers and leaders, understanding these concepts can help us create environments where employees feel motivated, valued, and treated fairly. When organizations successfully address these areas, they are more likely to address higher performance, longer employee engagement, and long-term success. Thank you for listening.